So at the beginning of March, I decided to do one of those, do something every day for the month challenges. And so I picked meditation. It was one of those things that I'd done for a little bit in the past. I'd done it like a week here, 2 weeks there, and it kind of always seemed to fall off for some reason. Given the fact that there was a lot kind of happening at the time in the world right now, I kind of wanted this option to try and do something to help me level set a lot of what was going on in my mind at the time, right? You always hear these fantastic things about what meditation does. It's like such a calming experience, it's life-changing. What can I say? I just came out the other side such a better person. And I'm like, whatever, sure, I'll give it a whirl. I decided to give Calm a shot. And one of the things that I think I didn't notice about the app is that they actually had a 30 days of meditation thing. So I thought, this is a perfect lineup for it. It was a much more fascinating journey than what I expected. I think one of the most interesting things that came out of the experience was the shift in perception of what meditation is to an individual and what I think it can do to someone when they started talking about this idea of equanimity. It's basically the acceptance of the space that you're in and the acknowledgement of things that are going around you and being comfortable with it. I always had this idea that meditation was about finding this perfect space to be in. Each time when you meditate, right, you're going to be in a different state of mind, and you're never going to be in this perfect state that you're going to be calm, you're going to be relaxed. And then from there, taking your mind and focusing it on a thing called a home base, which is this idea of a focal point. This single point can be your breath. It can be the warmth in your hands. It can be an image of something. It could be a space in a room if you're choosing to meditate with your eyes open. Throughout that period of focus, you're always inevitably going to have thoughts pop into your head, but you're meant to accept them. You're meant to acknowledge that they exist, but then you're meant to go, okay, I thought about that, but now it's time to draw my attention back, because what you're trying to do over the long term is build focus and the ability to actually remain at this home base for longer and keep your mind on a singular thing. You're never meant to blatantly try to reject it. It's up to you to really decide what ultimately your ideal home base is, because the ultimate goal is being comfortable, right? Being comfortable means finding the things that resonate the most with you. A lot of the things about meditating, right, is calming a lot of the noise that happens inside your head. It's meant to be this practice that you keep training your brain in. Because I guess when you think about it, right, like I'm 29, I've spent 29 and a half years of my life not really doing this. So a month of 10, 15 minutes a day trying to turn my attention inwards is not going to do a lot to rewire some of the behaviors that I have sort of ingrained in my mind. There's so many different ranges of emotions that one can go through in the period of a month. One of the things that you can struggle with, and I think this causes a lot of people to drop off habits, I think, as they're really trying to ingrain them, right, is that they're harsh on themselves, which can lead to excuses like, I'm too busy to do this, or I feel bad about something else, so I can't do this, or fuck this, I'm not seeing results soon enough, so what's the point of this? The other thing that's really important is this idea of friendliness, of being kind to yourself. Not every day is going to be a great meditation. I sure as shit didn't have good ones. I had great ones, but then I had just disastrous ones where I couldn't feel like I could focus on my home base at all. I had all these thoughts about work, about family and friendships going on in my mind that just wanted to just beat down the door and occupy my headspace, because that was just where my mind wanted to go. What was reflected on at the end of it was the importance of just having gone through the process of trying to focus more. Actually, it's some of the most important sessions to go through, because what it does is that it really challenges us and forces us to really dig into the muscles that we're trying to build mentally, that focus, that clarity, and that equanimity, that acceptance of what's happening. When you have those experiences and you are able to sort of muscle them to the ground a bit, and you are able to finally get back to that home base, it's really an achievement. What's important is the fact that you sat down and you tried. and you kept at it, and you didn't let the fear of not having the perfect meditation get the better of you. I think from that kind of point, that really adjusted sort of how I thought more about this. It helped me really think that, you know what, like this is a process. It's like everything. Meditation kind of at its core is about patience. You can kind of get at what the flow-on effects from this is. Like you can concentrate on a singular task for longer. You can maintain clarity of a situation without other things coming into your mind and infiltrating your thought process around something. Right now, there's a lot going on. And what meditation is offering me is a period of time during the day where I can acknowledge what's going on, draw my attention to something, focus on it, and calm what's going on inside my body. It's funny. They were saying, and I used to think that like, oh, you know, the goal is to get up to like these big, long meditations. So you've got these 45 to 60 minute windows of it. What's more important really is just doing it daily. It's persistence. It's that making sure that you don't build up excuses not to do it, because that repetition is what allows you to build that long-term ability to work on those key mental muscles and then be able to actually start applying those to your everyday life. So for me, like the good example would be working on my concentration, my clarity would then help me in my work on a day-to-day basis and focus on the task at hand, because that's honestly one of the areas where I think I could improve the most. My mind operates at a mile a minute. If you have conversations with me, you probably know that I tend to talk quite quickly, or at least I can, like I did just then, and my mind just wants to just fucking think about every little bit. And then when it comes to translating that becomes just a mess. I mean, if I sent you the raw and cut vision of this would be nearly an hour long of me ranting at a camera because I'm trying this new way to do this. And it's a bit of a mess and will probably require me to do a hell of a lot of editing in Premiere. But hey, this is all part of the process, right? And this is part of the practice and the persistence of getting shit done. So if there's some things that I would honestly recommend to people about trying meditation for a thing, it would be these couple things. One, don't worry about building this perfect Zen den that you have. Find a spot inside your house or inside your apartment where you can just sit and you can just be comfortable. You can sit on your bed, you can sit on a couch, you can lie down in some circumstances. Don't you fucking fall asleep though. But just find a spot that you can be comfortable with and just be okay with being in that space. You might hear the sound of the fridge, you might hear a car outside, you might hear a bit of chatter here and there, but the whole thing about equanimity is that you're actually okay with that and you can exist in that, and then you can still take that time to focus on yourself. The second part is persistence. Honestly, you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have days where you feel like you're not gonna be able to focus on your home base at all, but that's okay. Don't use that as a detractor to stop you from meditating. It should be an encouragement to lean more into it, because what persistent training of the mind does in this circumstance, it allows you to actually work past that frustration on a more consistent basis. And that's what leads me to the third thing, which is be kind to yourself. Meditation is a process just like any other thing that you want to practice and that you want to get better at. As we practice, as we try new things, we don't always get it right. Committing to something on a regular basis is tough. If you have a bad meditation or if you miss a day, the last thing that any of us need is getting angry at ourselves over the fact that we might have struggled to stay concentrated on something for 10 minutes. What's more important than chastising yourself is going, you know what, that's okay. Let's wash this off. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's get ready. Let's come back stronger. It's antithetical to this whole process if you just get angry to yourself over it. Things are difficult right now. There's a lot going on out there, and there's a lot going on in our lives on a daily basis. And so, of course, there are going to be so many things that are running through our head. And if we haven't spent the time to build this muscle of concentration or focus or clarity on a situation, then of course it's going to be harder for us. So just take each session as it comes, and take a little bit out of each one and carry it into your next session. Before you know it, it's going to get easier and easier to settle in to the session. I'm not there yet myself. I've still got a lot of work to do. I mean, the Valorant closed beta came out, and after losing a couple of matches, I clearly have a lot of work to do to get to that kind of space, but you know, I'll get there. Meditation's cool. I think it's great. I think it's sick. I am having a shitload of fun. Also, it's not for everyone, I guess. I know that there are people that have the ability to focus quite easily on tasks, who are naturally quite calm, who do brush off a lot of things quite easily and are able to reset like that. I wish I was that. I think my family wishes I was like that. Growing up today, even. But I'll get there. I think it's kind of hard to articulate still, like what the full effects of meditation can be for me. Because I mean, I'm still 35 days into my streak, I guess, but I'm just really happy that I started it and that I'm trying it. I can take the time to look inwards and reflect, focus, look ahead, and just be grateful that I have this period of time to do that. I think the idea of acceptance and being able to operate in your surroundings and do a specific thing and focus in any environment that you're in, and acknowledge that whatever's going on is just a thing, and what you can focus on during that period of time is your ability to just be there with yourself. I think it's like an incredibly important skill for meditation, but for everything else that you do in your life right now. And there's so many distractions that's going on. There's so many easy ways to just think about all other things that are just frankly beyond our control. Sometimes you just need to focus on the breath, close your eyes, and just create a space for yourself where you can reset mentally. If you want to chat about it too, hit me up, leave a comment, reply, do all of those sorts of things. Like if you want to hear more of this existential conversation, because apparently I like rambling on about it now. This is kind of fun shit for me, but maybe it's because I'm locked up in my apartment by myself and I have no one else to talk to about it in person. Be good to yourself, all right? Thanks.